Never before have those components sparkled as much as they do in Quantum Leap Season 2 Episode 5. Although Magic's circumstances have altered since the debut, we still learn a great deal more about the composed and steady project manager in this episode. Ernie Hudson gives a captivating performance, and it's really amazing. That Magic will enter as a hologuide with Addison benched is not shocking. Even though only Ben and Janis were aware of Ben's leap prior to it occurring, Magic has always felt accountable for it. But because Magic brought the software back online, he unintentionally brought about the events that drove Ben and Addison apart. Moreover, since Magic took Sam under his wing when he jumped into the Vietnam War to save his brother Tom, Magic is still the closest person at HQ to Sam Beckett now that Al has left. However, it turns out that Magic withstood more hostilities than the Vietnam War. He was fortunate to escape the trauma of the beating he suffered at the hands of Detroit police in the summer of 1967. He was a soldier at the time and, upon his recovery, resumed his duty, placing him in Vietnam in 1970, when Sam jumped into him. It's amazing to observe the noticeable shift in Ernie Hudson's look and mannerisms when he observes Dwayne dodging the lab police in that alleyway, just based on character analysis. This is seen in his return to headquarters and in his palpable desperation as he looks through his office for a drink. This is when the collective's brilliance shines through. Jen's arrival could have destroyed everything Hudson subtly lays out in the sequence. Rather, she offers him room and the freedom to remain silent while reassuring him that she will be available should he need her. The QL team's unity has become the foundation of the show thanks to this kind of character development and relationship awareness. Subsequently, Magic, ever the magician, gathers himself once more, long enough to witness Ben make the leap, and returns to the mayhem of the 1992 Los Angeles riots. Ben recalls seeing the news at the moment, and it's a hellscape of mayhem. His anxiety for the Park family only grows as a result of becoming deeply involved in the disturbances. Because it's Koreatown, it feels even more real. Ben understands Jin's dread of losing everything, even if his own childhood with a single mother wasn't like the shoe store history Jin had grown to associate with his entire life. After all, Ben has just lately come to terms with the fact that the future he entered the accelerator to preserve with Addison is not going to materialize. He is now without that future, his family, and the legacy that would have followed. When the looters leave and they inspect the business, he knows exactly what Jin is thinking and feeling. He likely even comprehends the resentment Jin feels against Dwayne in the aftermath. Furthermore, he undoubtedly understands Jin's feelings of guilt for shooting Sonny during a panic attack. Ben perceives Jin as a man whose black and white worldview and faith in the system have been completely destroyed in a matter of hours. Ben understands Jin's redemption, defying the lab police and defending Dwayne, has a genuine sense of significance. Could this be a sign of Ben and Tom getting back together? Could something come up later that puts Addison at risk and makes them allies to defend her? Though the idea that Addison will ever need saving makes me shudder, there is a literary attraction to the parallelism. In the context of reality, one observes a degree of unbelievable luck when the adrenaline of the police situation wears off. As Magic points out in his account of growing up black in America, there is very little chance that Dwayne would survive a run-in with the law in a city that is roiled by riots. Dwayne may have easily died in the rioting if the dispatcher hadn't called the cops back, both at the ambulance and in the alley. Prior to Jin's metamorphosis, he would have dismissed Dwayne's demise as the fate of another punk who deserved it. Grief is an odd thing, as Ben states in Quantum Leap Season 2, Episode 3. Either tunnel vision or clarity can result from it. It may force one to adopt a new viewpoint and accept one's own fallibility and mistakes. At least for Jin, it does. For Ben, it's beginning to do that. However, when it results in guilt alone, it retreats within. Right now, Ian feels like he has a lot of guilt on his shoulders. Telling Addison about it eases the pressure enough for them to get by for the time being. But that data leak from Rachel's boss's chip keeps making things more difficult for them. The team's dependence on one another and their loved ones is encouraging. Ian is depending on Jen and Addison. Since Addison has supported her during her sadness, Tom and the other members of the HQ team are also there for her. It's also quite unreasonable, even though it's difficult to see Beth falling in love with another Quantum Leap commander. It's obvious that she's all in on the relationship after hearing about how she saved Magic from certain death and witnessing her worried reaction when she discovers the bottle in the recycling. It begs the question of what Janis thinks about this and if Magic is worried about who she might poison next. But either she's too busy to notice that she's in Hawaii with the NSA, or she already knows and has tainted their water supply. Jin Park's keen observational skills give rise to the hunch that he is aware that Daniel is not himself throughout the riot. He chastises Ben for daydreaming quite a bit. His genuine LOL moment comes when he realizes that Ben speaks Korean fluently. Additionally, Jin gives Ben a stern look when he says that he's gone to a hospital in the past. All of it adds up, in my opinion, to a potential support group for Leapy's loved ones. Correct. For more, subscribe.